There's a decision to make, just one decision, but it's the kind of decision that could change the rest of your life, your peace of mind, your faith, even your relationship with God. It's not about money. It's not about a career. It's about the person you'll spend the rest of your life with. And let me tell you this, not everyone who wants to marry you has been sent by God, and not everyone who makes you feel something is the right person. Most people learn this, but they usually learn it too late. There are signs. There are recurring patterns that keep showing up in the same places, and there are clear warnings in God's Word for you to see these before you say yes. Today, we'll talk about 7 of them, because a wrong marriage doesn't just break your heart, it delays your purpose, it shatters your peace, and sometimes it can even alter the path God has laid out for you. The Bible never takes marriage lightly. Proverbs 18:22 says, "Whoever finds a wife finds a good thing." But be careful. Not everyone who presents themselves as a potential spouse is that good thing. We weren't called to marry out of loneliness, pressure, or the fear that time is running out. We were called to marry with discernment, and that begins with knowing what to look for and what to avoid. Someone who puts God on the back burner. We might single this out as perhaps the most important sign, and here's the strange thing. This is precisely the sign people overlook the most when emotions come into play. I once spoke with a young woman. She was completely confused. She had been with a man for 2 years. He was attractive. He was generous. From the outside, he looked absolutely perfect. But every time she suggested they go to church together, he'd come up with an excuse. Whenever she mentioned her faith, he'd smile politely and change the subject. And when she asked about his relationship with God, he'd simply say, "I believe in God in my own way." Now, this isn't a flaw, it's a warning. Corinthians 6:14 is very clear. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. A yoke is used to guide animals in the same direction. As you know, if you're walking toward God while the person across from you is going in the exact opposite direction, your entire marriage will be spent being pulled in opposite directions, and this tension doesn't stay confined to church or the prayer table. It seeps into daily life. It comes up in raising children. It surfaces during crises. It shows up in your decisions and how you make sense of life. Don't marry someone who views God as an optional add-on, because if the foundation isn't solid, no matter what you build on top of it, sooner or later, it will start to wobble. Someone who refuses to admit mistakes and belittles you. This is a subtle sign, but it reveals a person's true character. Look at how someone behaves when they make a mistake. Do they admit it? Do they genuinely apologize? Or do they always blame someone else? There are people who never truly take responsibility. It's always the other person's fault. It's always the past's fault. It's always something beyond their control. Think about it. You'll be spending decades with this person amid financial struggles, losses, health issues, and misunderstandings. You'll need someone who can one day say to you, "I was wrong, I'm sorry. How can we fix this together?" Someone who can't say that even on the easiest day of your relationship will never be able to say it in marriage. Proverbs 28:13. Whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but whoever confesses and renounces them finds mercy. Humility isn't weakness, it's the backbone of a healthy marriage. Don't entrust your life to someone who can't admit their mistakes. Then there's condescension. Don't confuse this with anger. It's a separate thing. Everyone gets angry, but contempt is far more toxic. It's looking down on the person you claim to love with a sense of superiority and silent disgust. It's rolling their eyes while you're speaking. It's the snide jokes they make in front of others. It's dismissing your feelings by saying, "You're too sensitive." It's belittling your dreams and your faith. John Gottman, the most renowned figure in marriage research, once identified contempt as the strongest predictor of divorce. But the Bible had already said this long before him. Ephesians 5:33, love and respect are the two pillars of marriage. Where there is contempt, love cannot thrive. Someone who makes you feel small or worthless, even if they later say, "I was just joking," does not love you. They are a wound disguised as a relationship. Don't let them into your home and call it my home. Someone who isolates you and controls you. Some people start a relationship with intense love. They want to be with you all the time and smother you with attention. Let's admit it. At first, this feels nice, but then, before you even realize it, your friendships start to disappear one by one. You drift apart from your family. Every relationship you used to be close to strangely turns into a source of conflict. And one day, you look around and realize that person is the only one left in your life. Let all me be clear, isolation isn't love, it's control. And control in a relationship isn't just a personality trait, it's a form of psychological and emotional abuse. Proverbs 11:14a. People without guidance will fall, but in the multitude of advisors, there is safety. God created you to live in community with people who will tell you the truth, pray with you, and see what you cannot see. Someone who truly loves you celebrates your relationships. They don't threaten them. If someone is slowly cutting you off from every voice but their own, that person is not a spouse. They are a jailer. And God did not call you to a prison, but to a covenant. Someone who acts one way in public and another at home, and refuses to change. We all try to show our best selves in front of others. That's normal. But there's a fine line between acting naturally and leading a double life. Some people are generous and warm when others are watching, but cold and harsh when no one's around, almost like a different person. Pay attention to how this person acts when they're tired, when things go wrong, when traffic is bad, when they think no one is watching. That's when their true character comes out. Because character isn't something a person puts on a display. It's where they stand when under pressure. Luke 16:10. Whoever is faithful in little things is faithful also in much. If they aren't honest in small matters today, marriage won't fix that. It will only provide a bigger stage for that. Dishonesty, the respect you have for the person you're going to marry in their private moments, should be the same as the respect you have for them in public. Because in marriage, nearly your entire life will be spent in that private sphere. Don't forget that. Let's add this to the list as well. Someone who refuses to grow. Watching someone you love stay stuck in the same place for years is, in my opinion, one of the most painful things in life. They refuse to be held accountable, resist making changes, and immediately go on the defensive when told, maybe you could grow in this area. In marriage, you don't just come together during the good times. You also come together during the process of transformation. Philippians 1:6. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. God is a God who is constantly at work, constantly building, but he works with those who are willing. If the person in front of you is closed off to correction, closed off to prayer, and unwilling to take accountability, they are not someone who will build anything with you. Don't enter into a covenant with someone who has closed the door to change, someone who doesn't take your calling seriously. This is the bottom line. And most people don't give it a second thought until it's too late. God didn't just give you the role of a spouse, He also gave you a purpose, a calling, a reason for your existence that goes beyond your role in your family. The person you marry will either nurture that calling or slowly extinguish it. Some ease people, even without meaning, to hurt you, view your calling as just a hobby. They can't accept the time you set aside for prayer and service. Amos 3:3 asks, can two walk together unless they are in agreement? Your spouse doesn't have to share the exact same calling as you, but they must respect it. They must make room for it. Because if the person sleeping beside you every night is constantly at odds with what God has placed within you, your marriage will turn into a battlefield. Choose someone who sees your calling and says, I'll stand by you as God uses you. Marriage is one of the most sacred gifts God gives in this life. It's not something to rush into out of loneliness, fear, or social pressure. It's a covenant, a contract made in God's presence, with heaven as its witness. These 7 signs weren't shared to scare you. They were shared to protect you, so that when you say yes, you'll say it with open eyes and a peaceful spirit. If these words have touched you in any way, send them to someone who needs them right now. Write in the comments, I will not rush what Allah has planned for me. And subscribe to the channel. Let's continue walking together in this wisdom, because you deserve not just a beautiful marriage, but one built upon the word of Allah.